Everybody, JC here with another T&I toy review. And for today's review, we're going to take a look at the new Batman Arkham Knight 7-inch scale Azrael figure from DC Collectibles. Now this figure comes packaged in the same style packaging we've seen with all the Arkham Knight figures from DC Collectibles. You've got the window box with the figure clearly displayed. You've got the name off to the side and the logo down below for the Arkham Knight video game. It also tells us off to the side that this is figure number 9 in the series. On the side of the packaging, we have some computer generated art for the character, and then on the back of the packaging it shows us all the figures in series 3. So we've got Azrael, Professor Pig, and Man-Bat, all of which are out now, and the Red Hood Arkham Knight figure, which has yet to be released. Then down below it tells us the figure was sculpted by Gentle Giant Studios. Okay, so let's get this open and take a look at what's inside. Okay, so here's a look at the figure outside of the packaging. Now the figure comes with one accessory, and that's his sword. And the sword is very big. It's almost as tall as the figure, comes up to the figure's upper chest area. It's a big broadsword. Seems a little bit bigger than what I remember him having in the video game, but I'm not 100% sure about that. But I do like the sculpting detail. I like these little side blades that come off to the side, and they're just little thin pieces of plastic. So you do want to be careful, you could possibly snap those off. I like the sculpting on the handle and everything as well, and it's just a dark metallic silver that they've used for the actual blade. I do have a little bit of looks like a paint scuff on here, but nothing too major. And you've got the wrappings on the handle and everything. So again, I think the sculpting detail on the sword is very nice. Now in the game, basically Batman is deciding whether Azrael will be his successor, and ends up discovering that the Order of Dumas that trained Azrael wants him to kill Batman and basically take over as the protector of Gotham City. And then you have to decide whether you want to try and kill Batman or with the sword, or join Batman and you break the sword. So I'm curious, for those who play the video game, did you break the sword or did you try and kill Batman? Anyway, the figure can hold the sword in either hand. The plastic on the hands is kind of hard, so you do have to kind of pry the figures back in order to get it in there, but he does hold it nice and tight in both hands. He doesn't really have any place to hold the sword. You can kind of slip it through his belt if you want to. I don't think it's really made for that, and these little side blades kind of keep it from going down too much. But you know, if you wanted to, you could kind of stick it in there, or I guess you could stick it back here. That's actually probably a better place for him to hold it if you want to stick it there between the figure and the cape. So for the figure itself, once again, DC Collectibles has done a great job with the sculpting and the paint applications on this figure, really detailed with the paint and the sculpt. A lot of the figure incorporates that kind of vinyl, flexible vinyl material like we see with capes and stuff in the line. So the cape itself basically comes around over and attaches to his shoulder pads, which are also that kind of vinyl material, which then attached to this harness piece. It's a separate piece from the figure, but it's not removable. The hood is also that kind of soft vinyl material. Now the hood attaches to the back, so to the figure, so it's not actually removable. It does limit some of the head movement because the hood does not turn with the head, unfortunately. You can pull the hood back some. You might want to be careful because you could possibly tear that little thin piece of rubber that goes under his neck, but you can technically pull that back and reveal his head. And the head itself is just done with a silver metallic paint, and then you've got the red for the face mask, and you can see his eye pupils through the mask and everything. He's also got that kind of vinyl material on this piece that hangs over his waist section, and the belt itself, which is a separate piece, is also that kind of vinyl material. The figure has really nice detail with the sculpting on from everything from the torn cloth, which is done with that rubber material, to the sculpting of the cross on his chest, to the pouches on his belt. He's got, you know, those little things that stick out the side like Batman has, and they're done with silver metallic paint, and the arm guards are nicely sculpted on there. They're plastic, hard plastic. Knee pads, nice paint work with the scratches and everything on the metal portions of the knee pads and stuff to give it that wear and tear look. I like the, you know, with the wrappings, how they look very dirty like you see in the video game. So again, I just think they've done a really nice job with the sculpting of this figure. Even like underneath the cape, you've got the tear in his white tunic, and you can see the chainmail underneath, which is nice, and you can see the chainmail sculpted. So again, just really nice detail all around on this figure. The figure stands almost 7 inches exactly, And he's pretty much the same height as the Arkham Knight Batman. Batman with the tip of his ears is maybe a hair taller, but they're pretty much the same height. Okay, so probably the weakest thing about this figure is the articulation, and it's not horrible, but it is somewhat limited with the costume. So as I mentioned before, the head is on a ball joint, and the head itself you can turn inside the hood, but the hood itself doesn't turn, so it really limits the head movement. Really no up or down movement with the head either. Arms are attached with your standard ball hinge joint, so he can get his arm out pretty good, but the rotation of the arm again is limited by these shoulder pads and the cape, so you really can't rotate the arm all the way around. He does have a single hinged elbow, so he can bend his elbow about that much, and then he's got swivels at the elbow, he's got swivels at the wrist, and he's got hinges on the hand, so he does have good down movement with the hand. Now these arm guards kind of come over the wrist joint, so he doesn't have a whole lot of up movement, only a little bit. He's got a midsection joint, but he really can't crunch down very much. That is all he can crunch down, and he can't really look back a whole lot either. There is a rotation there, so you can rotate at the midsection, and then he's also got a waist swivel, so he's got two swivel joints there at the midsection. Legs are attached with ball joints. He can only do the splits about that much. You can get the leg forward pretty good. Can't do the leg back a whole lot. Does have a thigh swivel. And then he has double jointed knees, so he has good bending at the knee, and then he has the hinges on the feet, so good up and down movement with the feet, and he does have ankle pivot and 2 peg holes on the bottom of his feet. Okay, so that's my review. You know, I've never been a huge fan of this Azrael costume. I liked Azrael as Nightfall Batman. I liked the Nightfall Batman armor, but I just never was a fan of this particular costume for Azrael. But if you do like it, I think this is a great looking figure. I think the sculpting detail on it is incredible. The paint applications are really nice. The articulation is a little bit limited, but not too bad. You can still get him in pretty good poses. So if you're a fan of the character in this costume, I think this is one you'll definitely want to add to your collection. So this figure is hitting comic and specialty shops now. We'll have a full gallery of images up at toynewseye.com. There's a link in the description below. And as always, leave a comment. Let us know what you think. If you're so inclined, please like the video. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. And until next time, I'll catch you later.